What are you doing?
I was gonna see how much that hurt. You got hurt?
So, how long have you two ladies known each other?
All right, we're back here with this fine 57. Got the front end going on it. This thing's about ready to do some burnouts. And we're not talking one tire fryers. We got positive traction in this thing. We're gonna do 2 tire fryers. Got the inner fenders on it, core support radiator, got the cooler lines done, got the wiring almost done, got a battery in it here we sold out of that stupid old and busted truck over there. Got half of our fresh air ducting in here. Our steering column is in it, not quite 100% done, but it is in it. So I can't remember if we talked about the column. Originally this car was a 3 on the tree, and we converted it to an automatic 3-speed. We have a turbo 400 now.
Can you explain it 3 on the tree for those people under the age of 30?
Under the age of 50. So normally your floor shifter would be on the floor, right? You just move it to on the tree. So your column is your tree. So you would go up towards you first, towards you, down is second, third, then reverse would be in and down. So we converted this to an automatic. So we got a CPP column that goes with their gearbox. This is the 500 series gearbox, power steering box. So it uses the original upper part. You use your original shifter handle and the part upper of the column, and then it uses their aftermarket column and shaft and rag joint that allows you to have a nice automatic column in your 57 Chevy. So we have our steering almost done, our power steering lines, pressure and return are finished. So I'm waiting on a couple things I took over to get powder coated. So our heater core is not in it yet. So I just looped the lines, and then when I get the heater core in here, I'm just gonna crimp these off here so I just have a little bit of coolant, and then I'll hook them up, and then I can just top off the coolant. So that's why I have the lines like so. I gotta do a firewall pad, so this is gonna come back out, but this will controls our little fresh air. I'm having a little issue on a fitment of the fuel pump. I don't know if it's just a tight fit in these cars or if I just have the engine too low. The fuel pump is hitting the radius of the frame down there. So this is like a 60 style fuel pump, and you're able to adjust the lower body of it, the diaphragm. You can unbolt it and rotate it. So I thought I can clock it inward because originally the inlet was hitting the frame, but then I was still hitting here on the side. So I tried to round it, massage it, and then I wound up going a little too far, and I have a hole in it now.
Good job.
So I ordered the one that's for a 57 Chevy. It's a little bit different. It's a similar style, but the bottom of it is a metal cover, and it looks a little more radiused. So I'm hoping it actually fits, but this is what's stopping me from starting it. So this is the other half of the intake vent that's gonna go in after we put the fenders on. We have our low pressure tube so we don't get water inside the car. There's a grommet that puts these two together, a little rubber deal that seals around here and then goes on to both of these that this will go into. So I'll have to add this later down a little bit, but I wanna get the fenders on it.
Down a little bit?
Down the road a little bit.
Car together has been a lot of trial and error. We have never put a Tri-5 fully together. He doesn't care. He doesn't care I'm recording right now. Do you want to keep going?
No, I'll stop for a minute.
Yeah, I'll stop, yeah.
Well, it's for a minute, wasn't it?
If your definition of a minute is 2 seconds, then yeah.
I can't hear you, I'm working right now.
So it's been a lot of trial and error putting this car together, just for the fact that this is the first Tri-5 that we've put fully together in terms of all the body panels. And we didn't take it apart, so that didn't help anything at all. We didn't know what went to what. You know, we just got a whole bunch of parts and we're like, all right, it looks like everything comes with the car. So we didn't try and trial fit anything before. We just took stuff to powder coat and got it powder coated, and now we're here putting it all together and figuring out where stuff goes. Like this body panel, we got it powder coated. We didn't know what the heck it was, but now we're finding out it goes next to the inner fender, behind the grille, whatever you want to call this area right here. It goes right here. So that's one of the many parts that we're just not finding out.
I knew you liked that one.
The master mechanic brought up a good point. He said when he was my age back in the day, back before phones ruined everything or something stupid.
Keep talking.
Dude, he said when he used to put his cars together, he would just bolt the fender on there and call it a day. And he would wonder why the door hit the fender and the hood wouldn't close. It would rub on the fender every time he closed it. And that's because he didn't use any body shims. And this is stuff he's just now figuring out after how long? Now, as you notice, yes, the fenders are painted. I think last we showed they were still in primer. Shout out again to the proud Camaro owner. He painted the firewall and he painted these fenders. I think he gave less love and care to these fenders than he did on the firewall.
I think he just painted them. I don't even think he sanded them.
Regardless, it's all one color, so it's fine. He did match the paint code of the car to the fenders, but the way it sits right now with how dirty it is, it's a little off. I think once we wash it and clean this thing up, obviously it'll look way closer. I don't think it'll look 100% the same, but it'll look good enough for this four-door.
We got the fenders all adjusted, all tightened down. This one here has a little bit of a, looks like I pushed down a little bit. And you can see that the fender looked like it was hitting the door here, or the door was hitting the fender before a little bit where it's pushed down. So it's been that way for a while. We weren't able to catch it because the fenders were off the car when we got it.
While the Master Mechanic is continuing to put this car together, I want to tell you guys about our brand new channel that we have created called GHP How-Tos and Repairs. This channel is going to be home to all of our how-tos and repairs. What do you know? How to do ball joints, an in-depth look on how to do wiring on a fan, how to wire an LS engine, how to pull a four-wheel drive tranny on your back. The possibilities are endless. We're so excited for this channel because it's going to open up a wide variety of videos that we don't want to be putting on this channel because we want to keep this a channel where we show our builds and the classic cars and the events we go to. Go down in the description. You will see the link to the channel down there. Click the link, go over, subscribe. Our first video on the channel is going live in a few days, so you'll see that.
Got the left and right front bumper chrome trim, I guess you call it, installed. We got the grill installed. This is the grill that came with the car. It was a little bent up. I kind of straightened it. It looks pretty good once you get it all put together. Then we have the, I don't even know what you call this, the grill griller. So if you remember how the bumper looked when we got the car, it had a little dent in it on the one side, and the chrome was weathered. It was kind of cracking and looked kind of bad. We got the bumper re-chromed, and then the little bolts here we got chromed also, and then they fixed the dent. It turned out really, really nice. We got the brackets here all powder coated, factory brackets. For the license plate and stuff, we got all that powder coated, but we don't have any hardware for that. I have one of the bumper ends that go to the fender, but I don't know which side it is, so I'm waiting to get the bumper on, and I'll figure that out, and then I got to get the one that I'm missing. Put the bullets on it here. It turned out really good. I like it. There is a right and left to these. So we gotta get this together before we put the bumper on. I had a little boo-boo. So the bumper bracket shares the mounting bolt hole for this little bullets here. So I had to take the nut back off. Don't tell anybody I did a oopsie.
There you go. Other than the headlights and the hood and a couple other small things, the whole front end is done. We have brakes that are fully bled. We have the fuel system fully done. We got the new fuel pump in that actually does fit the car, so we're good on that. So we have fuel. We have the Ron Davis radiator in there, so we have coolant. We have the exhaust fully done, which we'll show you later on. A pan of underneath the car. That looks like we got everything. How about we start it?
So being that I'm not 100% done with the front end yet, I didn't run the wires. We just got the sheet metal on it. So I'm gonna hot wire this fine automobile in order to start it because I don't have any power inside the vehicle yet. I have nothing.
Do you want to address that comment where somebody said he uses a 50 to 1?
Yeah. So somebody said that it's safer to use a blend, a two-stroke. So they use a two-stroke oil instead of brake cleaner or a carb clean or a starter fluid. A brake clean and a carb clean evaporates. So if you spray it and it sits there long enough, it all disappears. Use an oil gas mix, that doesn't disappear. It's always there. So if you get too much into a cylinder or something, it can cause it to hydraulic. In my opinion, that's not a safer way to go. Hey man, you can screw up your own car. It doesn't matter to me. Use all the two-stroke oil you want in there. It doesn't bother me at all. A little bit of that. Hold on. I think we need some more timing. Oh, I need to get faster on my switch over. Yeah. Your hand's not very good. I don't want to borrow it no more.
I can't hand it off to you fast enough. It's like you picking it up. It does. It's the same effect.
Well, if you hand it to me, so it'd be like way the heck over here.
I'm just holding it like I normally am.
Like turn your arm or something.
We have a solution. I'm gonna hold this can, and he's gonna hold that can.
We're gonna transition.
Instead of him grabbing my can, he can just grab his own can. All right, hook your thing up.
Give me a little.
Get your
Oh, get it ready. Keep it there. Get out of here. I don't like that anymore. That thing ain't getting anything out of it. That pump ain't doing nothing. So I'm gonna see if my new pump is even any good. So I took the inlet line off of it, and I'm gonna stick my finger over it, and I'm gonna crank it and see if I have vacuum. I don't feel anything. I don't feel any sucking.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. So here's my pump. I think what it's doing is it's gotta travel that far before it does anything. It only pumps at the bottom. I don't think the...
So you don't think the rod's long enough in there?
No, it's just, well, normally it doesn't need to travel that far to pump. It's a lot of wasted space right there.
Well, the thing that makes all of this a bigger pain in the butt is we need to get this car aligned tomorrow. And if that fuel pump isn't working, we can't drive the car.
I'm about to end this man's whole career. What career? Finish him. What career?
We went ahead and just put an electric fuel pump on it. We disregarded the whole entire mechanical fuel pump, but we successfully got the car driven for the first time over to the alignment. Now that we have it up on the alignment rack, you can get a good look at the underneath. And I can tell you that stainless exhaust looks so good underneath this thing. And no, we did not go with the typical 80s exhaust tips on this car. We went with a tailpipe that I don't think I've ever seen on a Tri-5 Chevy. And you can let me know in the comments if you've seen one before. How do you like the underneath of this car?
Underneath is really nice. Get it up on the rack over there. It's pretty impressive.
You can see how nicely the brake lines are ran too, along with the fuel lines. You can see how good all the powder coated stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
Now that we got it back from the alignment, we got the hood on it. Look at this. We'll get a better shot of that when we get it pulled out here. We got the chrome put on the fenders right here, and I think that's about it. Let's get this thing pulled out of the stable. Let's go for the first drive in 15 years. Sorry, false advertising. This is the second drive. We drove it to the alignment, but this is like the first legit drive. Come on. Okay.
Let's check it out.
Let's do this. Now that it's aligned, we have the hood on it.
We got all 4 doors on it.
Drive.
Little adjustment still, but we're getting there. We're getting the bugs worked out of it.
So you can probably hear that noise right now.
We got some rattles.
That rattling noise, that is the vents because they're not fully bolted in or hooked up yet.
There's only half of it in there, so it's rattling on the inner fenders.
But this here is my first time ever driving a Tri-5.
You okay over there?
It's almost like we just pulled this out of a garage and it was sitting for 15 years.
It almost kind of was.
Man, that brake pedal sits up really high, doesn't it?
I don't know, you're driving, you tell me.
That brake pedal sits up really high.
Oh, cool. You guys told me that, thank you.
You're welcome. I promise you, the rattle will go away once we actually get up to speed.
It's only at idle.
See? The rattle goes away while we're at speed. So when we went over to alignment, we did not have rear shocks and it was out of alignment. So, but even with those two issues, it drove really nice. So I can only imagine how it's gonna drive right now. We're gonna get on the freeway for the first time. Is this gonna be the first freeway drive?
Yeah.
We'll use the ginormous steering wheel with our power steering. I can tell you this thing's really not as easy as you think it would be to turn, but it's easy to turn. I think we're still in first gear. But this thing is putting along. All right, this second gear, I think, right? Is that second gear?
You're driving the car.
I'm driving the car.
Tell me. What are we in right now?
This here's our 1957 Chevy. 4-door. It's a 4-door, everybody. If I had to guess, we're going like 70 something. 72, 3.
Yeah.
What are your impressions?
Car?
Yeah.
Car is very nice. I was debating the whole sway bar thing. So far, I don't think it really needs one for what this car is intended for. Maybe I'll add a front sway bar. In the corners and stuff, you don't get a lot of body crazy roll, so I think it'd be okay without one. But I do need to get speedo cable. We're gonna hook that up, get it everything working.
Even with this thing being filthy, it just, dude, it looks so good.
It's definitely a good
This thing looks good.
a good sound, and the exhaust isn't too loud. The only reason why we can hear the engine is because of the heater box cover. The heater box isn't in it right now, it's wide open.
Yeah.
I think if that was in there and the firewall pad in,
I think it'd be really quiet.
I don't think you can hear the engine.
Until you sit in one of these and drive one of these, you don't realize how spacious they really are.
You would think a big car like this have a lot of under hood space, but there's like no under hood space.
I think it has
It's
similar.
it's all car space.
It has similar under hood space to the Nova.
Very
It's
tight.
pretty tight. I'm curious, compared to like 58 to 64 Impalas are all the same length. How much longer are those cars than these?
I don't know.
We'll probably throw it up.
I
We'll
would-
throw it up on the screen right
I would
now.
think that they're bigger, they're longer cars.
You can see the appeal for these Tri-5s. Why
Even,
everybody wants one.
even a 4-door, this thing gets people's attention.
For in today's day and age, in the modern era, these are not, in my opinion, they're not race cars. These are perfect for this. Like if somebody's taking one of these cars and making them do a gasser today,
I'm sorry.
I can't say what I want to say on video. I will say though, one thing getting used to in these cars is the curved windshield. It's a little funky at first. It's like a fishbowl look on the edges.
Nah, I guess you get in certain spots, you get a little bit
It's
of
not
it.
very drastic. There's other classic cars that are super drastic with
I
it.
wouldn't say there's any blind spots in here though at all.
No,
I think you can see pretty good.
no, there's no blind spots at all.
Real tornadoes. That's pretty good once it gets running.
It sounds pretty good from the outside.
It runs pretty good. Once the governor springs were adjusted right, and you know, so it's just right, and then the carburetor doesn't bog. You hear right here. If you get to clear out, it runs pretty good.
Man, you can't do a burnout on this thing.
A little engine that can.
Well, I think that's all the fun we can handle for this video. Make sure you go down, like, share, subscribe, comment, and come back for the next one.